Benevolence. It's preparation time. Yeah, we are the original World Union. O.W.U. This is our soundcast. We are the leaders of the Unified Indigenous People Liberation Front and the priestess and high priest of the faith of true right, truth, and rights. It's me, O.W.U. Yashma Saru Ma. Manifesting the truth, teaching, sharing, and calling to unity, the evolutionary leaders to atone and rule as one. First of all, I want to thank y'all for attuning and contributing to this energy consciousness filled flow. We are the divine liberated. We are the chaos to this world's current perverse psycho-spiritual social order. O.W.U.
Okay, so people need to know, people need to see that the prophecies is real. But what I want to talk about and focus on is that this message, faith of true right, truth, and rights, true right, truth, and rights, of which I will have already defined,
is divine and your divinity. Yes, benevolence. Benevolence is O.W.U. Yashma Saru. And you have tuned in to O.W.U. Soundcast. This is O.W.U. Soundcast. This is May. We're pretty much at the end of May 2020. And the reason why I'm giving you these dates is because I have points to make. So you'll know when this is recorded. It doesn't necessarily be released the time it's recorded. But you know the necessity of what I'm saying according to its spatial temporal zone concordance. Yes, I am a history recall, a reality recall, not history, a reality recall specialist. A reality recall specialist. In other words, what you call the past, what other people call history. But being this specialist, there is no limit. We recall what happened on other planets, other dimensions, and also I'm a futurist. I am a future. I communicate with the Omni and those who have been allowed to communicate with me for the Omni about what would be the future in this so-called planetary realm, which is an energy field, a consciousness energy field. That is what a planet, a solar system, a galaxy, a universe, that's what it is really. It's energy fields within energy fields within energy fields. So we're coming to talk about the psycho-spiritual reality of the political, socio-political realities of the current state of the United States of America. The current conditions and circumstances of the United States of America and how they affect masses. So we're talking about that's the what. We already know the when, and we're going to talk about the why and the how. So you start with what, then you have when, is that spatio-temporal. Then you say, well, how? And then you say why last. And that's what we're going to do right now, because the political, socio theater and platform presented to the masses of human beings in the United States, from the United States, traveling in and out of the United States. See, people speak as if it's static. It's just this the United States. This is what's going on. People understand. They never talk to you reality. Reality. That's why it's good when they talk about immigrants and trade. So you're gonna understand people are running in and out of this United States. In fact, all the global countries in the world, all these so-called countries, nation states, and not nations. Nations is just a group of people, a mass group of people. But a nation that agree upon, they have all these categories of which they're saying, so they become what's called a nation. Like the Kurds. The Kurds are in Iraq, they're in Iran, all those neighboring countries. They're in Turkey, but they're the Kurds. You see? And so we want to talk about this level of the reality. But first, we want to talk about current things going on right now. You have not just that some white racist men chase down for 4 minutes a black man 4 through 5 minutes. Aubrey, the brother, his name was Aubrey. His last name was Aubrey, and he was shot to death for nothing. But it was for something. It's because this is like the movie Westworld. These people, not just white people, these people, and when I say Jew, they're white. These people, they're playing out their parts that has been programmed through the spiritual frequency warfare, impregnating the minds, indoctrinating the minds of the masses. We're all playing out to some point. Like last night, I ate too much spice. I had all this great food prepared for me. I didn't prepare it. It was a gift. All these different type of potatoes, purple potatoes, all this nicely, freshly cooked and picked onions and bell peppers, and all baked in the oven. Everything is delicious with some all these different type of vegetables, not just those, and different dishes all put in one. You see, with some. But you know what I did? I put too much sauce on it, hot sauce. Just being stupid, and not typical hot sauce. I'm talking about some hot sauce sent here from Brazil. Not even their ghetto normal stuff. I'm talking about some of that stuff you had to be at the resort to get. Just because I was flipping, I was wilding out. Then I had we had this cake, a raspberry cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory. Just picked it up. I sat there and downed that too. So in the middle of the night, I don't drink milk. I don't eat milk. I didn't realize there was milk in it. I don't know. I knew there was milk in it. I wasn't thinking. I was being an idiot. And so what happens is, I eat that shit. I wake up in the middle of the night and it's like, my body is sensitive to milk. So I'm getting this pain from what's called constipation. I've never been constipated. So I end up sitting on the toilet just farting in pain. And so of course, I start doing yoga to relieve myself. I wake up this morning, I do the driving I have to do, and the things is stretching. For some reason my stomach's blowing over because of that hot sauce. You see where I'm coming from, how stupid that is? I'm playing out a part in this matrix. I just spent 2 minutes explaining something that it shouldn't have took that long. And the point is those people are like the TV series Westworld. Check it out. It's on Amazon. You will see the programming going on in people and the parts they're playing. So, if you look at the tenets of Capitol Hill in the United States, this and how it's all linked to this device, I'll call it, but it's known to you as the Constitution, is the excuse for it is a written excuse for furthering what the white race did when they did what was called manifest destiny. Going around, it was a doctrination called manifest destiny, petitioned by what was called the Pope and his leadership group at that time, giving the power to all European and white race. Because before that manifest destiny, it manifested what was called the Nicene the Nicene meetings in Nicaea, the Council of Nicaea, and they created what would be a doctrine, what was now called an indoctrination called the Bible. You see, and then they came up with this, well, we're white, we go out, we destroy everyone else, and we put them as slaves, no matter where it is on this planet or anywhere in the world. So instead of still saying that, because they want to deceive you to think that what Martin Luther King and them is pushed for, civil rights, human rights, with all those black people around the world and all those righteous people that were Mayans and Aztecs and all these people, Cambodians and Vietnamese and all these Tibetans and black Australians and black New Zealanders and the black people of West Pompeii, all these people in the 60s, the 50s, see, World War I and World War II just crashed shit. It threw everything into complete chaos. That's what people don't understand. The period of time from World War I all the way through the end of World War II, it was complete chaos on the planet Earth. The only thing that was going good was they was evolving their technology, the white race. They were tweaking the technology that they got, that was the information that was stole out of the ancient Egyptian pyramids and out of the other pyramids worldwide. Remember, pyramids are really called mirrors. So if you use the word mirror, you gotta get used to that's the original, most oldest word for a pyramid is a mirror. Pyramid actually means a pancake structure. So in those ancient civilizations, they took all that information. So people like Nostradamus, if he ever really existed, Einstein did, and so did Nikola Tesla. They had access to that information. They were able to piece shit together and create technology and uses of energies from it. That's all. They didn't invent anything. They didn't realize anything. They weren't so genius. They took the genius out of ancient Kemet. They had access to it. Where do you think the white man gonna go? You think some people ruled that took over the whole fucking world thousands of years ago? You think that all of them were so barbaric that they organized all these barbarians, brain dead dweebs, to go out and kill everything and everybody? Because they literally went out and killed everything and everybody. They literally had even diseases on their bodies, smallpox, all kind of shit. They had syphilis on their bodies, a form of syphilis that could travel without sex at that. What's called influenza. This is all before World War I. This is what's going on thousands of years ago. I'm talking about when they went into Africa. I'm talking about the time when they supposed to have killed who was called Jesus. I'm going that far back. Remember, I'm a recall specialist. I'm an ancient recall specialist. I'm telling you the importance of what happened so you'll understand what's happening now. You'll understand what it's reason why it's happening now, because of how they want to affect and structure the future. And who are the future? Aren't your children the future? Aren't your children's children the future? Won't you reincarnate? We reincarnate through our family. Don't you know that? Your children just happen to not be your parents, but their children's children, one of them will be you. Your soul will recycle. That's what karma is. That's what reincarnation is. You don't spontaneously, abruptly become a damn whale. Get that out your head. You don't know. See, people play games, and these games been played. I'm an ancient recall specialist. People were playing that game with reincarnation a long time ago, just to get more people to follow them. So they start saying, "Oh, we reincarnate as butterflies too. We reincarnate as dolphins." And then people want a higher spiritual or a new spiritual twist, so they come over here and worship with that teacher. You see, that's where things went wrong. And so what I'm telling you right now is that we live in a time that was influenced from the past. These people had this thing called manifest destiny. We would go around the world. It was our manifest destiny that we got the right to own everything, including all beings that we encounter. You know how fucking incredibly narcissistic, sociopathic, and psychopathic these people had to be for thousands of years. Let's not be racist, let's be scientific. Let's have common sense. How evil that is. How sinister that is. How naive they had to be to the reality to go out and do that. And what did they end up doing? They ended up ruling the world. So if you think that those that had them people go out and do that and spread that propaganda that it is our manifest destiny to go out and fuck everybody up because we're pretty fucked up. Meanwhile, Europe didn't even have any irrigation and were dying off. This is why they had all them diseases. They didn't have to go out and kill everybody. They got off the boats wherever they pulled their ships up, wherever they docked their ships, and let their pigs out. Did you know that? And ran their pigs into the forest. What happens is some of the animals in the forest will go and see that pig and eat that damn pig. That animal will be dead within 24 hours from the diseases in that pig. The other animals will come eat them dead animals, including that pig, off those pigs. And some of the other pigs, the indigenous pigs, the brown and black pigs, will fuck those little pink pigs that the Europeans brought with the diseases. And then the peoples would eventually get all that from running around in the forest, getting all that they need to eat and shit, and get to do their technology, whatever form of technology they had, you know, creating baskets and creating little bows and arrows, creating little guns. They, you know, boats, cleaning, going to get the herbs and start to clean themselves and keep themselves pure and holy. Like the indigenous people who ended up getting all them diseases. And then the white people sit back and say, okay, the disease and told them they fuck up enough. Now let's step in. Let's, in fact, blast them with some cannons from our fucking ships. Since they've been coming around here snooping. And so you got the natives fucked up, dying of diseases. Their prophecies of the end time is coming true to them. And these are our ancestors. This is what they went through with these people that had a manifest destiny, that their leaders told them, you have a manifest destiny. And then they didn't even tell them that. That's what the upper class told themselves. Why they would organize and mobilize their masses of people and release those that were in dungeons and in prisons. Remember, entire areas of the UK was nothing but prisons. It wasn't just a building prison. It was entire areas. And now they're called ghettos. In other words, those people had to stay in that area. They can only come out with a card if they were allowed to. If they were caught, they became a permanent slave. They were already in misery, and or they get through in a dungeon. And so now you have what's called ghettos. In Poland, the word is called ghetto. In the world right now, any place that's full of poverty, crime, injustice, self-hate, and all that, that's called ghetto. This shit hasn't changed. We're looking at a big Europe. The whole entire world is a big ass fucking Europe. Capitalism was just the naming of what the empires of Europe was doing. Prior to even leaving, they had hoarded everything to them one individual, the king, the queen. Everybody else was poor. They had no technology. They had no knowledge. They had no science. They had nothing. They were fucked up, dying of diseases. And you say, well, how did they get the power to go in and take over Africa? And Africa was the most powerful force on the planet in this instance. For thousands of years, they go in and spreading diseases. I repeat, for thousands of years, they went in and spreading diseases. Now, what does the fuck did this have to do with year 2020, May 2020? Why are you talking about that? Because we need to reflect and see it's an echo of the past. We need to see everything we're living through is an echo of the past. Nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. So when you see that these masses, these people in the United States of America have been castigated from good common sense and real creativity, and that all the other countries in the world have been reflecting themselves as the United States and organizing themselves, even created what's called constitutions, which were stolen from the American natives and the Moors who were here in the United States before it was called the United States, before so-called Christopher Columbus regime started. It wasn't nothing but a regime. It was a group of people. It wasn't a person. So before all that happened, in other words, before the white race came over here and fucked everything on up and restructured it into Cybertron. We're living in Cybertron. We're living in a matrix. Cybertron is a name of the planets that the Transformers on the cartoon Hasbro character series was called Cybertron. That's the planet that they came from, the good and bad Transformers, the Decepticons and the Autobots. They came from a planet called Cybertron. We're living in that. That's what they created. They took everything from indigenousness and created it into Cybertron. We're living in Matrix. I'll call the Matrix Cybertron. We're people of the Creatrix. We're vibratory in nature. We're nature observing ourselves. Us so-called melanoids, or what the white men call humans, we are not humans. Those are the mammals. Those are the regressive mammals. We're the serpentine. We're the reflection of Amun. We're supposed to lead the humans. Give them spots on the planet where they can organize and create their little civilization. And whenever they think they tough enough to come, we fuck them on up. That's what was going on for thousands of years. But we started believing that we were humans. And that's where everything got, and everything just aged out. But what's happening is we're living in a reflection. So we have this tyrannic system going on, but everybody has been told that you can say anything. And you have access to all this overflow of information. So it's the two things. The number one amendment of the Constitution of the United States, which have been reflected all around the world to any developing countries. Remember, after World War II, they established what? The United Nations. They established what? The World Bank, which means they established what? World Health Organizations, global world. All those are one global system. So when you say the United States was bailed out Europe, who was controlling the world? Europe, the majority of Europe. And so what happens is the Marshall Plan. They bailed out Europe. So the agreement with Europe was, well, we'll go in your image now. And we'll rule our colonies, and we'll develop our colonies as makeshift versions of us. But we're a makeshift version of you, United States. So anytime you see people from Caribbean or from Central South America or from Europe, and all these people have this consecutive agreement that Americans, people from the United States, specifically black Americans, are lesser than them, and we don't know nothing, and all this different shit. Your entire reality was based off of this. All of you want to come here for a reason, because it's programmed. You're like off the movie Westworld. You program to want to come live this out, but criticize it at the same time. Criticize the people that created it. Because trust me, those criticizing but ain't breaking the spells and curses ain't overcoming the odds. A melanoid, a black. None of you motherfuckers can come to the United States of America and have been able to come here except the African Americans didn't mass commit suicide during fucking slavery. And none of you immigrants could even have any rights except that we bore and went into a state of insanity and fought tooth and nail for your civil rights. And none of you gay people, nobody can have anything except it be heterosexual blacks, families that were the ones that were enslaved, that were oppressed for hundreds of years in the United States since the early 1400s, not the 1500s, but the early 1400s, if not the late 1300s. It was the early 1400s when the white people got here. They brought people as slaves. The only way they can get here is because they had blacks as slaves helping them, teaching them how to navigate and all this different shit. Teaching them hygiene so they wouldn't get sick and they wouldn't die from the sicknesses. Them was white doctors. Them was in fact, they weren't even fucking doctors. They were the sages. Nature's herbalists, practitioners, go by many names. Understand. And so, they come here, they establish this slavery thing is the reason why, and it's fighting. We are the people that's castigated even after all these years. Psycho-spiritually and socially and politically castigated and economically castigated even by Africans from to the United States because they didn't strike it rich or fame. I want to act like they are down to earth and cool, but black Americans, they're not. They ain't no pronounced enemies, but they're not. They're programmed. You're programmed. You're like off the movie series Westworld. You're like off the movie series Westworld. You're programs. There's different type of programming going on. That's why there's entire masses of people that think that same way. Why you think all the Nigerians is out to get people? And now this new generation that's just becoming adults with the millennium that's in the United States or Europe and stuff is faking like that shit wasn't that bad. Yes, it was. Nigerians is calling the police and lying on black Americans all the time, getting in relationships with them, trying to destroy their lives and all this different shit, and doing the same shit to blacks that was over in Europe and Canada. You're guilty. You're forgiven, but you're guilty. And so, Ethiopians and Eritreans are too good for everybody. This is what I'm talking about, bullshit. People are programmed. African Americans want to self-destruct all the time. African Americans is a pity party. Don't have to get any intelligence. Don't have to be intelligent. Just barely now, as a majority, in the day, want to start acting like they got some sense. Before that, they were fraternity niggas running around over materialistic boule, and then the niggas running out of prison is the prison fraternity, where the unalive tormenting monster thrives. Let's not act like this shit ain't fucked up. And why did the black women have all that HIV? They had the highest rate of HIV in the United States of America, and plenty of in Canada too. And all this shit. Why? Because them black women were getting some good ass job catching HIV from them other men that were bisexuals. And they were also being with them black men that's running out of prison. Sex addicts. Women that are sex addicts. So every relationship with men, you have to have sex so you catch an HIV. And it was the older group. These people were like 40 and up. Age group, like I said, is 2029. 40 and up. In fact, in 2010, when I seen these numbers when I was working at the Census Bureau in Suitland, Maryland, the headquarters of the Census of the United States of America, in 2010 working, I just got back from South Africa from the World Cup. That's right, went to 11 games. Grew up in poverty, had nothing, but still did all this. For myself. Never been in the military. Not a sucker. But what I'm telling you is, I seen all them statistics and it all, and then I'm living in DC, I'm back and forth to New York, and I realize all these older women are all trying to always pay dues to have sex with them. And come to find, looking at these, no way, these bitches is the one with the HIV. So what I'm saying is, everybody playing out these roles. You got all these, and you say, well, you can call it traps and stuff, but there's mental programs that come before you go into those traps. Then when you encounter those traps, if you don't have a mental program, you're the one that won't get caught up in it. So when we listen to people talk, like Cornel West, and he's kicking his genius, because he is a genius. That's what genius is, tapping into your greatest at something. Not that you're greater than everybody else, that you're just tapping in your greatest, and as long as the camera's on, like it was on Bruce Lee, then you realize, damn, this is the master of martial arts and theater. That guy can put on a play real good. I bet you can put a black play in a black American play in his hand. He can make that shit act out. He can direct that shit good. Bruce Lee. He was a genius at the things he was genius at. So what I'm saying is, we need to realize what's going on is we're being programmed. And so you got this mass incarceration thing going on. Think about that. Stop playing like that shit is just something. Going to sit back and think about this shit. Give yourself 24 hours a day to think about these specific subjects. Look at justice. The history of justice in this United States. You'll be wondering what the fuck is going on with everybody. Acting like nothing happened. This is all a program that continue no matter what happened. Everybody just go right like robots, go right back. Totally insensitive. Go right back to their programming. Oh, they shot and killed the little black boy that was only 13. Oh, they thought that ice cream in his hand was a gun. That's all they'll say. The white man is running, the diddy is running around like nothing happened, being celebrated. Good. So you gotta ask yourself, who are those elites that are causing all these problems? After all these thousands of years, why are the people still running everything? Caucasian. If there's all these white people that ain't racist, why they never formed a group and went and fought against those that are racist? Because if they care. The Civil War, United States wasn't over black people and American natives. Non-human controllers. The same thing with these blacks. They say, well, you know, the fraternity black ain't the black man that's going in our prison shooting and killing other black men. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Let me tell you why. Because they're not all talking intelligent like these black men, like Colonel West and these black men that you see fighting for rights and fighting for black people to unify and love each other and treat each other right. They're doing the right thing teaching it. They're not Ascendents, but they're still teaching the right thing. They're seeking to liberate the black human beings. Liberate them from what? The niggas. To separate. They're doing the right thing. Because me being in the Senate disguises a black human being. Not really, I'm a serpentine omni being. We know that. But we are disguised as black human beings. These are our people. We are made in the Amun's image. So, the niggas will kill us. That's what they're here for. You've seen the movie The Matrix. If you haven't, you need to watch that. You need to watch They Live, The Matrix, and you need to watch Westworld. Then you need to watch Westworld. You need to let this shit sit into your consciousness and walk around society without your earphones on, without fucking and playing on your phone, and just walk around and observe. And go home, do your meditation and your prayer. The 3 tenets: hear, listen, and hear. That's the first tenet. The second tenet is to contemplate and reflect. And the third tenet is to meditate. And as you're praying, remember meditation is listening and hearing, contemplating and reflecting, and clearing your mind. Why? So you can pray, which is you communicating with and requesting. Now back to what is socio-political and how it affects the spiritual, psycho-spiritual, and how it's all connected. Social-political and psycho-spiritual. I had to go back in time. Manifest destiny is what caused all this shit. We're still living in their manifest destiny. This specific group of people are still pushing their creation, who is what? Who's their creation? The white race. The white race. These originally are the blacks that were stripped of melanin as punishment for all the wickedness that they were doing. They got an old dome, but they said this old dome. The originals stripped them of their melanin. That was their punishment. It sent them in a freezing cold areas to die. But you see, people are strong. People know how to survive. And then you got wave function entities who came here, found them, and empowered them with kind of higher consciousness so that they could fight us. And then it took them 1,000 years. They finally created a race of people and built them up that they can war against us and destroy us. Built them up just enough, civilized them just enough where they're still the evil, vicious beings, not because of the violence they create, not because of the deception, but because of all how they can live and run around here with all them diseases on their flesh and not die. And that's the way that they took over everywhere they took over, the white race. Remember, their creators did all this. So we're living in a manifest destiny that started. Remember, it started so long ago, before the armies of the white race were created and pushed out. These wave function, non-relevant, Narfar, wicked wave function entities known as Lucifers and Satans and demons, those things, the imps and jinns, principalities, came through wormholes, stargates, and heavily populated this world in a wave function entity, and then they start trying to possess me. They couldn't possess black people. They couldn't possess melanoids, the serpentine. They couldn't possess our creation, who's the black people. So they possessed those that have been stripped of their melanin and sent out in the prisons of the freezing gold. They possessed them. They were wicked principalities. They possessed them, and then they couldn't mass produce through them through sex. So what they did is they created a breed of people in their image, which now YTs, Europeans. And over the thousands of years, they finally took over the world through cruelness, through ruthlessness, wickedness, malevolence, and narfargness, in every form and fashion. Any wicked evil you can think of. Killed off all the buffaloes, killed off all the whales. You destroyed everything they could. Why? So they can create the Matrix. Cybertron, create into another. That's what we're living in. That's what we're facing right now. So everything that all these black people are pushing for this civil right now, that is necessary to stop the killing of the blacks, the innocent blacks, by these militant machine people known as police officers and cops. These are cyborg people. You can't have a people that came in and destroyed everything and wiped everything out and committed genocide on all life forms, not just humans. Them same people are the one prescribing reality to us, telling us what's the names and the definitions of everything. They're telling us what racism is, what justice is. They're telling us what the name of this animal is and the name of that animal is, and telling us histories and how it happened. They can't hide the fact that they killed everything. So how in the fuck are they the stewards of justice and right and wrong? That's impossible. That's fucking impossible. In the mythology that, well, this wasn't us that did it, you a motherfucking liar. You the reincarnation of that motherfucker. Too many are going through these stages or getting stuck in the stages of materialism, turning to hate and envy and jealousy. The current situation that the world is in now, betrayal, lying and deceiving, leaving people hanging, pity pitying liars and deceivers, leaving people that are good and righteous that need help to a life of pity begging, totally uncertainty and misery and unhappiness, greed and spite and selfishness, all kind of materialism, greed, flesh, materialism, greed, flesh, materialism, gorging and gorging, stimulation, addiction, stimulation, addiction, stimulation, addiction. Of course there's going to be injustice still. These people are still manifest destiny. These people in control. I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about the
clones, the breeds of humans.
Now you got it spread it to everybody. Now you got these Asians that are doing it. Chinese, North Koreans. And they sitting up trying to make them look like they're the bad guys. What make a fucking South Korean and better than a North Korean? Nothing. That's bullshit. What make a United States human being better than a Chinese human being? Nothing. A Russian lesser than a fucking British? Nothing. It's all a facade. It's a lie. It's a lie. And you know who created it? The United States of America.
The human imposter. Cyborg clones.
These aren't new regimes. Those are new names. The nation state experiment. Did you know all the founders of the United States of America, all of them had one thing they agreed on. They didn't want to make it a nation. They didn't want to participate in a nation state experiment. Which means they really didn't want to participate in capitalism, because the nation state experiment, the word nation was invented with the prescription of Adam Smith's capitalism, doctrines on capitalism. There was no word called nation. He or that specific group generation created the word called nations. Just like what's called the Middle East was part of Africa. It was considered Africa till after World War II. It was part of Africa during the theater and during the theater of World War I and after World War I. Not until going into World War II was it called Middle East. It was called North Africa. It's all a play on your head with these words. They're playing on your head. It's social political dogma. This is the genocide of intelligence. Why? Because intelligence in the world of intelligence, the world of espionage, intelligence means the facts. The evidence and facts. Nothing false. Only what's real. What's real to connect the dots. 1 + 1 = 2. Not false information, not disinformation, not misinformation, but facts. They genocide off intelligence because everybody's based off of fallacy and falseness. So all this big prison industry going on in the United States of America, all this drug addiction and stimulation addiction, this is all planned out. This is all predicated by the same people that committed what's the mass genocides over the planet called manifest destiny. In the name of Jesus Christ, in the name, not in a sense of spiritual devotion, but in a sense of that was their banner, man. That was, ladies and gentlemen, that was their fucking banner. It wasn't the United States. It wasn't Europe. It was Christianity. That's what brought all them different Europeans together. There wasn't no God, wasn't no spiritual. It had nothing to do with that at all. It had to do with, this is a war machine. This is a greed machine. We're going around the world killing off everybody, killing off everything. So how are you going to be so sick and weak in your mind that you think you're not them people that did that? You are them people. You are that person, and you need to devote your life completely to changing the world for the better. And you can't be doing it unless you're linking like a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, like reparations, and giving back to the people that were oppressed. Sitting back relaxing on some John Mayer, we waiting on the world to change bullshit, fake ass motherfucking mentality. You ain't supposed to be sitting back waiting for the fucking world to change. Get the fuck out here and make the world change. You're supposed to be like Peter Tosh. Equal rights and justice. Fight for us if you're not the devil, white man. Fight your fellow white man that's evil. Fight them. Fight your fellow white man that's evil. Fight them. That's right. Do something. Do something. Otherwise, you're with them. Otherwise, they're with them. They're a part of it. They're a part of it. And they're still manifest destiny. Now you're in a new level of manifest destiny. It's all manifest destiny. Whether it's the United States, whether it's the Europe, UK, Britain, running around the world, we're the greatest navy. Whether it's Germany, we're the greatest air machine. We're the greatest unified war machine. The Germans during World War II. We're whether you the Russians, we're the greatest espionage machine going around the world, taking over everything. And whether you the Chinese now, the Japanese, the greatest economic machine. Then now you have the greatest conglomerate of it all, China. United States was the greatest conglomerate of it all before the Chinese. But it's all still the same thing. This manifest destiny. You got all this regurgitation of like recycling of souls in and out of prisons, in and out of these schools, these institutions, in and out of these hospitals. All it is just recycling. Billions and billions of people, no matter what, whether it's the southern hemisphere or northern hemisphere, whether it's a so-called developed country, all countries are developed now after the internet. All countries are developed now after the internet. Don't just snap out of it, snap into this. This is the faith, the true light, truth and rights. We're dealing with the truth and what's right. This is what we teach. We teach with reality. We don't teach your motherfucking buffoonery and your we don't teach your fucking fallacies and fairy tales.
Our education system full of fallacies and lies.
When I was young, they was feeding us fairy tales, and this goes on until I'm old and gray.
Our education system full of fallacies.
There was a rich man, an old man, a beggar, and a thief. Each one had a hustle to make food to eat.
Our education system full of fallacies.
So you need to realize what's going on, and this has been going on. It's the same regime, the same wicked spirits ruling over different generations. So how could it be the you people that think that you're not racist, that you don't think that you don't have any responsibility? How is it that you can sit back waiting on the fucking world to change, getting high, meanwhile getting high on marijuana, making money and profit off of marijuana, meanwhile over the last 100 since World War II, black men have been in and out of prisons for distributing and selling marijuana, but now you white people can get rich off of it. You said, well, were you saying you black too? Come on, act like you fucking grown adults. You know how you block people, other people, you even block other white people. Make sure you get your profit. You're capitalists. This is what I'm saying. You got, look at all this coronavirus, and now they want to make a
plug.
And it's all about
plug
from the beginning. The means justify the ends. It's all about the
plug
from the beginning. The means justify the ends. Bill Gates having a patent on the coronavirus before the shit became a pandemic, and having a patent on the fucking
plug
too. Do y'all know that? So is he? He's a steward of this reality. He's a top guy. He sits back and competes with these other top guys. He's such a top guy that Donald Trump don't have shit on him. These people ain't shit. You have to understand, people like Bill Gates sit back and decide, shut the whole planet down for his profit. He shut the whole planet down for his profit, and he's been telling us what he was going to do. And you think that Apple dude was something? Steve Jobs, he was nothing. He was ruthless, but he destroyed his own soul. Look at Bill Gates. Look at. Wait. No, Steve Jobs. That's the ultra rifle. He don't have no soul. He destroyed his old self. Now look at this Bill Gates. Look at this. Look at what they're doing. This regime. Look at what they're doing. They cut down the whole reality. And people still stupid enough to think that Kobe Bryant died on accident. You grown ass motherfuckers, and you think that it's accidentally it's a pandemic's on an accident. You can go to the university right now if you want to, so silly, and you study. You can go learn biochemistry. You can learn how everything's created purposely by people and mandated. Everything's manifested, initiated, and implemented by people. If you study political science, like I did, in political sciences, I have a degree. I have a master's in public administration, in the public administration law. Political science, I studied on 3 continents, in Europe, in Geneva, in South Africa, in Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University, and in the United States. So don't think that I'm just puffing off the side of my neck some bullshit. I'm telling you, this is important information for you to have your mind on, to have on your mind to give you a perspective on life, so you can break through the matrix mind control grid. So you can break through the matrix mind control grid. They don't want you to see the nuances going on with the mind, the mass indoctrination and mind control. It ain't making you all the same. It's making you all different on purpose, so you would collide, so you have conflict, so you have differences that's keeping you from unifying and overcoming their bullshit. You think that their brainwashing got to look the same. You still, I repeat, think that their brainwashing got to look the same. The brainwashing doesn't have to look the same. The brainwashing looks different. It comes in different frames and forms. I told you to watch Westworld, the series. It's a series. It's a crazy ass series on Amazon. If you can't watch it on HBO or wherever it comes on. It's important for you to understand that we're being programmed. The masses of people are being programmed. Even the serpentine beings, speaking to you, you have to break free of this. You have to see that they're bailing out all the, they bailed out in 2017, they bailed out all the corporations. They don't tax them, they taxing us. They're taxing the peoples. The governments are corrupt. The government is the enemy. Why isn't it? But it's not the enemy of us. Not the enemy of us, the Ascendents, the serpentine. It's the enemy of the humans, the masses of slaves. We're not slaves. We see these truths. We're liberated from them. To the future, we exist. To the future, we're conscious. We travel interdimensionally. We communicate with Amun and Amun. We have missions to fulfill here, and we're gone after that. It's these humans that have to reincarnate here continually. You see, they can't evolve to the levels of us, the Ascendants. So we must launch the Ascension. We must reflect this information out so that all the Ascendants that are born through these melanoids that are just black people, that they can reach higher heights at a young age and don't have to get caught up in any generational curses and psycho-spiritual indoctrination shutting down their pineal gland in their higher consciousness. They could be liberated with a fully active pineal gland and a higher consciousness, communicating with the Ami and the Serpentine throughout the universes, throughout the multiverse, throughout the Sirius star constellations, throughout all the constellations, throughout the future beings, the Ascendants of the future, O.W.U. We can't be caught up by this. We need to be able to see it as it's coming, as it's reflecting. We need to see the nuances in them of our own specific lives. But you can't if you don't see this big picture going on and how they bailing out all these with this coronavirus, bailing out all these corporations, giving people a little bit of money. They can't spend their money on nothing. You think this system is going to be the same? You think that money really going to be the same? You ever heard of inflation? So basically they're giving everybody $1,200, right? That's $120. By the time they come out of this, that was $120 because the prices will be so high. Right now the prices are already that high. That's just $120. They telling you they're giving you $1,200. They know that their inflation in their dollar has went sky high. They're not saying that word. You won't hear the word inflation on any fucking news, period, globally. Because they're hiding the fact that their economic system crashed. You see, people, it's this book, I'm not going to say the name of it. I had this book for 15 years now. This book talks about how, it fluctuates incrementally. A declination of an economic system, declination of a public health system, declination of finance systems, declination on any level in corporations, in businesses, in non-profits, declinations in spiritual systems, declinations of civilizations and societies. It don't happen overnight. It's not a big explosion. It's little by little. It's incremental. And so you just had in 2007 a crash. It was a crash in 75. And the laws that they had they lifted those laws. President Reagan lifted those laws that were implemented in 73 or 75 that they couldn't do that kind of trading. That was the kind of trading that caused the crash in 2007, the economic crash when the subprime dropped. Now what we're looking at is the entire prime is dropping. because it's incremental. Now we're in 2020. They have the COVID-19. It's a cover up for the prime. It's not that the virus ain't real. But you can unleash a virus as a pandemic, as a cover up. The fact that your economic system that you created in the 1600s should never had been still implemented. You should have had a new monetary system in the first goddamn place. But greed, mass greed, capitalism, implemented. Now you got people that are poor running around killing each other because they want to be capitalists. They hoping that they get a regular. They hoping that they're living a soulless life. Everywhere, these people are, I'm talking about those of you that seeking African ancestor religion. You go to Africa, or they'll roster and they want repatriation. You go to Africa, there's somebody waiting there to run game on you. Oh, we're here waiting for you. Yeah, there's good and bad everywhere. I'm not. That's clear. But what I'm saying is, you have to fix you. You have to see the nuances and see this shit does matter. This big level shit does matter. You cannot be such a petty little person. I'm talking to you in prison. You matter. You in prison listening to this podcast, this soundcast, the O.W.U soundcast. Listen to O.W.U Kili, Yashmala Saru. Is you. You're vitally important. You got to understand. You got to see what's going on out here. That they're recycling souls, like how reincarnation is the recycling of souls. Well, they're recycling souls. Kids at 6, they're going to kindergarten. They're going to first grade. Before they were in preschool. Why hasn't this shit changed? This shit is a prison, industrial prison complex. It's a matrix. It's Cybertron. That's the goal. The goal is Cybertron. That's what the World War III is about. The nuclear bombs, which I prophesy is coming. That's what the nuclear destruction will be about. You got to wipe out all these people so you can establish these colonies, these underground and overground colonies. Because you messed up the entire atmosphere and killed off all these masses of people in life forms. And now you got this fucked up. So now they're going to establish colonies, which is total mind control. People, it'll be a memory. They'll be teaching these people in these colonies, underground bunker colonies, of how things was. There you go. You and Pat, you in a state prison listening to O.W.U soundcast. And I'm telling you what it's going to be like. But what they're not telling you is they can't kill us all. They can't wipe us completely out. We'll inherit the earth. We're still control the surface. So what I'm saying is this already happened, not just on other planets. It had to happen here already. That's what the deluge was about. That's what the flood was about. So we have to learn from that. That's why I'm an ancient recall specialist. I know what happened. So we'll apply things that I learned to our situation, and that's what the Unified Indigenous People Liberation Front is. It's our unity so that we can establish our colonies throughout the globe, knowing that we want to survive through this World War III, prepare for it, live through it, and establish O.W.U globally. This is what I am about. This is who I am, the Serpentine King, Supreme. This is about the future. Everybody living ancestor religion. This is a mind control. You're supposed to learn everything you can from ancestor religion. Learn what you can from the comedic information. Learn what you can from others. It's not what you are. You're beyond that. You're supposed to be future beings. But it's clear that those that are the descendants, let them remain descendants. We're the ascendants. We're the ascendants. We're bringing the ascendency. We're not everybody seeking ascension. Let them seek ascension. Ascension just happens. That's a spirit. That's part of spiritual devotion. This is the ascendancy to the future. They're trying to stop us from making it to the future. And I'm not talking about the black race. I'm talking about us, the serpentine, that had to hide amongst those that we created, which was the black race. We are black too, but we're melanoids too. But our bloodline is specific information to our specific destinies to lead and guide the way and open the way, like Elegba, like Isu Elegba, open the way, like Anpu Anubis, open the way. We're the ascendants. This is the ascendancy. We're creating the path, we're the faith, the true right, truth and rights. We see all this going on, like the movie They Live and all these wicked ones. We see that this is dealing with Aubrey being shot to death. This is like the movie Westworld. It's going to continue. And this message, yeah, it can be taken, and it's important to be taken from black people and poor people alike. That if you don't unite as one, you are being divided. That is the brainwashing. That is the indoctrination for you to be divided. And that is what the humans do. They divide amongst each other. That's why they can never break free. But the Ascendants, we're not humans. We're disguised as humans. We're disguised as melanoids. And we are the way. We're the guides. But trust me, we're not in a time and place where they will listen. You have to wait until after World War III, where things are so desperate that they'll bow down and accept their leader. They'll want it so bad, they'll need it so bad, like the Germans need it. And then Hitler came. I'm that one. I'm him. It isn't going to be somebody that it's just popped up. Hitler didn't just pop up. Marcus Garvey didn't just pop up. They was kicking it. They was being rejected. They was looking down on. They was being ignored. And when the time comes, they established the biggest, most unified groups in the history of modern times. Both of them two men I just mentioned. And we're going to be that. Because we're the Ascendants, the Serpentine of the Omni, the Amu, Amma. The divine intelligence, Ma'at, the divine order, Ma'at. We are O.W.U. The origin world unity. The originals were world union. O.W.U. O.W.U. We are also the stewards of the Unified Indigenous People Liberation Front to prepare and survive through the coming cataclysmic wars. Don't you see this is all leading to that incrementally? The prime is falling. The economic system is flopped. It's over. There is no going back. We have to prepare. You see the white supremacists preparing. You have to respect that. They're preppers. Why? There's some black people, they're prepping just like the white supremacists. You can't prepare that way just physically. You can't prepare just psycho-spiritually. You have to prepare for a future metaphysical, psycho-spiritual, metaphysically, communicating with the Omni and the interdimensional and sending with the Ascendants of the future. You can't just be, I'm an ancestral religion. So you communicate with just those of the past? Are you crazy? So this is why you must, if you're an Ascendant, unify with me. You can't remain an individual. All this wickedness in this society is real. If you stay an individual and you don't unite me with us of the faith, the true right, truth, the race for O.W.U's sake, then you must perish with the rest. And we will establish the Unified Indigenous People Liberation Front globally. I am lead protagonist. O.W.U. Kili Yashmala Saruma. We must piece this all together. And that is what I'm doing. We mustn't fall in slaves, sit, be programmed, and play out stupid, silly parts. This is the opening. This is to be free of that program. No matter how high conscious you are, if you're still an individual, or you still calling yourself one of these false identities, you still hold on to that foolishness. You're not seeking to survive what's coming. You will perish and be tormented with the rest. And you deserve it. You didn't unite with those of us preparing through the Unified Indigenous People Liberation Front. You didn't devote worshiping spirit and truth from the faith of true right, truth and rights, and you're not going to be part of O.W.U. Your descendants won't. You're just a descendant. You're just a human. You're just a melanoid. Your spirit, you're not living for your soul preservation and soul evolution. It's all outer. It's a social media game. You want to look good. You want people to follow you. That's not it.
Every time benevolence.
Come with us.
Love every time benevolence. Love every time benevolence.